All right, everyone. It's your favorite political innovator, David Washington. I am back with Ground Zero, Florida. And so there's been a lot of conversation about Renee Nicole Good and what's been happening in Minnesota. And so, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so, I'm going to give my perspective. I've been asked because of what I do, what my perspective is. And I just want to start by saying, I've been in and out of this political space for about 35 years, and I've done some things. And I protested on a number of occasions. The first Gulf War, environmental causes, political causes, from Chicago to Florida and back. And so I just want to share this. Back in the day, in my very, very early 20s, I was 20, 21. And there was a protest that I participated in, a demonstration of sorts. And I don't mean, a group of people, crowded on the street corner, waving signs and blowing whistles and making performative speeches and things like that. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about, making a scene in a grocery store, laying prone on the ground. What's the point to that? This particular incident, we were protesting, a group of us um, affiliated with different organizations. We were protesting an incinerator that was spewing garbage, toxic garbage on the southeast side of Chicago, particularly my neighborhood, the Rosemore community. And the incinerator sat on top of the waste management landfills. And it, it contributed to a lot of health issues, pulmonary, whatever. And this particular demonstration was held downtown Chicago, okay? Downtown Chicago at the then State of Illinois building. Yes, that big, ugly monstrosity, the James Thompson Center. Now it's the Google building. And we made a makeshift bed in the plaza there, outside the building. And at the time, the Attorney General for the state of Illinois was Roland Burris. I portrayed Roland Burris. Roland Burris being the black man, so I was the lone black man to portray him in our group. So I portrayed Roland Burris, and there was someone next to me who um, portrayed waste management, and then there was someone next to me who portrayed big business interests. And so we made this makeshift bed and we laid in it, and we each had signs across our chests, on our shirts that identified who we were representing. Me, Roland Burris, Attorney General Roland Burris, and so forth and so on. And so, yeah, we drew a crowd. NPR came out. Cheryl Crowley, I believe, was the name of the correspondent. I got her autograph later and spoke to her about the whole purpose of what was going on, and politics in general, Chicago politics in general. And about maybe midway through the afternoon, three attorneys came down from the Attorney General's office, and they spoke specifically to me and said, "Hey, brother, do you understand what you're doing? You're not really helping out the General." And I said, "Hey, we're here because of the fact that there is an incinerator that the General's office is supporting, and this waste management is polluting our community, and I'm here to protest. And the three attorneys looked at me and leaned in and said, "You keep doing that and you watch your back." It's like, okay. And they left. And that was it. That was it. We finished our protest into the evening rush hour, and it was what it was. And we made the newspaper, some TV, so forth and so on. And I understood that there were consequences to our actions. And whether I knew it then or later, I'm sure there were consequences to that particular action. And whether I suffered gravely or not, that was to be determined. In my years of demonstrating and protesting, there was a lesson that I learned. I did stuff with act up, move on, but there was something that I understood very clearly because I wanted to make it home to my parents at the time. I was living with my parents. I wanted to make sure that I made my point, that it came across to the people who needed to hear. However, I understood that there was a line that I should not cross. And so, in all the, you know, political dissension activities that I participate in, whether it's again, it was marching in DC or, demonstrating here in Florida or whatever, I understood that you respect authority. You respect the attorney general. You do what you have to do in a very tactful, respectful way. And yes, we were saying, the attorney general is in bed with polluters. And hey, we laid out that scenario in front of the state of Illinois building. However, we understood that you don't cross a line. You show respect. You don't taunt the other side who is in disagreement with you, whether it's local law enforcement or not. But in my instance, in my history, I made damn sure that I got home safe that night. And yes, I've had friends who've been arrested, and I knew better. I don't want to be arrested. Things are different for a young black man, okay? I did not need that on my record. I thought about my future. And so, and this is what I'm saying, particularly what's happening with our immigration enforcement. Things are getting out of hand. That line is being crossed by protesters. And there's going to be consequences, as we saw with Miss Good. She should have been home that night with her family. And right now, there's ways of demonstrating peacefully, but allow people to do their job. As they're allowing us to do our job of protesting, allow the other side to do what they need to do in order to get the job done and move on. There's a right way and a wrong way. And I could go on and on and on. Again, the bottom line, get home safely. So this is Ground Zero Florida. I am your host, David Washington of J.M. Washington, your political innovators here in Florida. We make winning fun. So if this is the type of content that is thought-provoking, please comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and we'll have a tactful conversation. Also, if you know of any family, friends, influencers in the wild, candidates or electeds, and or elected who could benefit from this type of knowledge, please share it with them. I'll see you here on our platforms. I'll see you on Live Now from Fox. I'll see you out there in the streets. We've got a lot of things planned, and I was supposed to have a book ready to go out this past winter or before the end of 2025, and y'all been keeping us busy. So busy is a good thing. So please like, share, hit the notification button, all that stuff. And of course, we love to hear what you have to say. This is Ground Zero Florida. We'll see you the next time. Bye now.